My name is Elizabeth Egbert Berghout. My pronouns are she and her. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this virtual tour of the historic World War II Memorial Campanile and Carillon. Located prominently atop Mount Oread, the World War II Memorial Campanile is unquestionably the most distinguished landmark on KU's Lawrence campus. It was constructed in 1950 to honor all veterans of World War II, and particularly to remember the 277 members of the KU family who died serving their country. The names of those who lost their lives in the conflict are engraved in the Virginia greenstone on the east and west walls of the memorial room at the base of the tower. Bronze panels on the south doors of the memorial room evoke the emotions and tragedies of war, while those on the north doors depict the history of Kansas and the ideals toward which the university and humanity continually strive. The inscription carved into the frieze of the memorial room reads, "Free government does not bestow repose upon its citizens, but sets them in the vanguard of battle to defend the liberty of every man." Groundbreaking ceremonies for the Campanile were held on the 11th of January, 1950. The architects designed the tower to be built of reinforced concrete faced with stone. Wooden scaffolding, which could be seen for miles, was erected surrounding the tower. The cornerstone was laid during a ceremony that was part of commencement activities on the 4th of June, 1950. The stonemasons then began the long task of facing the campanile with native Kansas limestone. The process of cutting and laying the stones continued for 9 months. The 53 bells for the Carillon were cast at the John Taylor Bell Foundry in Loughborough, England, using techniques that have changed little since the 12th century. A bronze alloy is heated to over 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit and is poured into a prepared mold. After cooling, the bell is removed from the mold and cleaned with a wire brush. The bells are individually tuned by shaving off material inside the bell. On the 1st of May, 1951, the bells arrived in Lawrence by railroad car. The larger bells were pushed into the memorial room before being hoisted by crane up through the center of the tower. The largest bell weighs nearly 14,000 pounds. In contrast, the smallest bell weighs about 10 pounds. The instrument was dedicated on the 27th of May, 1951. While the landscape has changed, the tower remains the same, a memorial. The Campanile was designed with 2 access points to the Carillon, a 70-step circular stairwell, and an elevator. Although the elevator was supposed to be installed within 5 years, the shaft remains empty today. For over 70 years, Carillonists have accessed the bells by climbing the narrow stairwell. I regularly conduct tours, but the lack of an elevator limits many people from visiting any level above the memorial room. 40 steps up, we have the practice room. This room contains a practice clavier, piano, a desk, a filing cabinet for music, and a storage cupboard. The batons of the practice clavier are connected to tuned bars, so the sound stays in the practice room as we learn music. 30 more steps up, we have the playing cabin, currently being repainted. All 53 bells hang above the playing cabin, the largest bells on the bottom and the smallest on the top. The bells are stationary and do not swing. The Carillon Keyboard, or clavier, at KU has 53 keys, or batons. Each baton is connected to an individual bell hanging in the tower. We play the baton with the side of the fist, and as I press down on a baton, a series of wires pulls a clapper into the side of the bell, striking it. When there are more notes to play, the hands just get faster. We can play the lower half of the bells with our feet. Put hands and feet together. That's how we play the carillon. The Campanile is not only the most famous icon on the University of Kansas campus, but also the gathering place for vigils and memorials, as well as a place of celebrations, including the well-respected traditions surrounding graduation. I hope you have enjoyed this virtual tour.